Hi, my name is Rivera Sun. I work with an organization called Pace y Bene Nonviolence Service. We're based in the United States, and it's great to get to talk to you this way. So we're going to talk about nonviolence today. It's a huge word. It describes so many things, a philosophy, a set of principles, a collection of skills and practices and solutions. It also describes a toolbox for making change, including things like boycotts, strikes, protests, marches, blockades, civil disobedience. So that's a really big word. It's a really beautiful word. Most of us know it from people like Mohandas K. Gandhi or Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But nonviolence is practiced around the world by people of all ages, all genders, all ethnicities and races, all classes, all backgrounds. And it's something that the whole world has invented and developed together. So think about it for a minute. Have you ever stopped a sibling from hitting another sibling? Have you ever kept one of your friends from getting in a fist fight? What about finding a way to work out a disagreement without calling someone a nasty name? These are all nonviolence. Have you ever joined a protest? Have you ever seen a march happening in your community or heard about a group of workers going on strike? These are all nonviolence too. We like to think that nonviolence is a word with a lot of different meanings, and it's something that we can all explore and investigate together. So let's take a look. Just notice for a minute what words jump out for you on this word map. Nonviolence is really big and bold in the center, but maybe you see some of the things we were just talking about, like boycotts, strikes, protest, march. If you look a little bit more closer, what else jumps out? Do you see things like inclusion, respect, self-care, sit-in? If you look even more closely, maybe you see things like environmental protection, healing trauma, peace teams, food justice. These are all forms of nonviolence. They're either nonviolent actions, or they're nonviolent skills, or they're nonviolent solutions to the types of violence that we face in our communities. We like to think of nonviolence happening in at least 4 different ways. We can practice nonviolence towards ourselves, and this includes things like listening to music, like this man is doing, or meditating, or spending time in a community garden or in outdoor space, or doing yoga, or eating one of your favorite foods that's healthy and good for you. There's a lot of ways to practice nonviolence towards ourselves. And that helps us practice nonviolence towards each other. So things like restorative justice or conflict skills or active listening. These are all different kinds of ways that we use our ability to work through our problems and our disputes without resorting to violence, whether that's physical violence, like slapping someone, or it's emotional violence, like being really mean to them, or it's discriminatory violence, like calling them a nasty name. The more we know about how to practice nonviolence with each other, the more we can solve our conflicts within our families, within our friend circles, at our schools, in our neighborhood, in ways that prevent larger scale violences from erupting. But if they do, we also have a set of tools for that. So you might have noticed not too long ago in India, 250 million people, led by farmers, rose up. They went on strike, They did sit-ins, they marched in the streets into the Capitol, they protested, they demonstrated against the farm bill that they thought was going to really be bad for the country and bad for the farmers, and they won. This was the largest protest in human history. There was never been one bigger before, or hopefully we'll see one even bigger later on, but this was the biggest protest yet. So when we look for ways to practice nonviolence in society, we're looking for movements that can challenge injustice, that can find ways for us to remove our cooperation and stop being part of the problem, or get in the way of injustice and stop it in its tracks, keep it from continuing to cause harm. We see social movements today working on everything from racial justice to economic justice to stopping the climate crisis and working for environmental justice and much, much more. But speaking of, there's another dimension of nonviolence that humanity is learning we need to practice more of. And this is nonviolence towards everything on Earth and with the Earth itself. So we know because of the climate crisis and the ecological crisis that humans have to learn to live in a way that doesn't cause harm and destruction to the environment, toward our one and only planet, or towards our fellow species, whether they're animals or they're plants. This is a huge aspect of how we need to practice nonviolence in our world today, and something that many people are still learning a lot about. So we like to say that there's a lot of definitions for nonviolence. It can be called love in action. It's a way of cultivating peace, building reconciliation. It's everything that we can do without either doing nothing or responding with violence. So everything else is fair game. Nonviolence is a struggle. It's not passive. It's not quiet. It's not complicit. It's not just going along to get along with people. It's standing up when something is wrong, speaking out when you see harm being done, finding ways to be active, bold, courageous, compassionate. And we know that it's the love that does justice, as Martin Luther King Jr. called it. Bene likes to say that nonviolence is a force for goodness, transformation, justice, and the well-being of all that is neither violent nor passive. So I want you to do something with me right now. Hold up one hand. There are two hands of nonviolence, and we get this from someone named Barbara Deming. The first hand says no to the problem, no to the injustice. Stop where you are. I will no longer allow you to continue to cause this harm to myself, my family, my community. And we're going to use everything that we can with this hand to say no. This is boycotts, strikes, occupations. It's also conflict skills with our friends or stopping a fight on the playground. But with the other hand, we say, I am still open to your humanity. I'm still open to who you are as a human being, recognizing that I'm full of faults and flaws too. These are called the two hands of nonviolence. And with them, we say no to injustice and we say yes to a way forward through our conflict. So that is a brief introduction to nonviolence. I know you will explore it a lot more as today and the days go on. Thank you so much for listening. Bene and our Project Campaign Nonviolence work around the world to foster nonviolent skills in communities like yours. We provide tools and resources, books, literature, downloadable things like coloring pages and posters. And we just want to encourage you to be creative and think outside the box and think, what can you do that doesn't require violence, but moves you through the problems that you see in the world? Thank you all so much.